We're at my grandparents. I want to do a little bit of a project status update on some of the projects sitting out here. I'll add the clip, but I haven't started this car since December. So of all my cars, this is probably the least impressive out of all of them. Well, not bad. Not bad at all. Needs door pin bushings really bad. Needs a hood. Right here is a dent. Fender's a little screwed up. Might not mean anything to anyone else, but this is identical to my first car. A white 93 Mercury Cougar. Even with those plates on it, that's the plates I had off of my original Cougar. But different color interior. And that I do want to switch over to the right interior, get a good fender and hood for it. But had the rims, everything. This one doesn't start, blowing head gasket, but this one's got the better engine. This is a supercharged 3.8 V6, naturally aspirated 3.8 V6. I try to start that, but to get it untarped and everything's a pain in the butt. So, yeah, it's good. Glad. This thing running. Been sitting for 3 months now. So, that there. Haven't done much with it yet since my last videos in the past. Still has a blown head gasket. I got my other engine's at my garage. I got it half ripped apart. I want to go through all the gaskets on it first before throwing it in here, because why go through all the work of swapping a motor and have issues? So, especially if it's going to be something stupid like main seal or front cover, timing chain cover seal, some stupid gasket, whatever. Easy to do it while it's out of the car. So that way I can just swap the motors, throw the other one in here. It's also going to get a 5-speed swap. It's an automatic right now. Actually, I got to see if the mice are eating the poison. Because they love this car for whatever reason. A lot. I've killed so many mice in this car, it is ridiculous. Mothballs aren't working. I don't see any poison, actually, none at all. So that tells me them little bastards are chewing on it. So we'll definitely put some more in here. 47, that runs and drives. I'm not going to uncover it. Getting a little dark. I don't want to be screwing around with the stuff once it starts getting dark out. But rewired it. I got to re-hook up my fog lights. I had them hooked up, tried different wiring, but I since switched the bulbs. So now those are turn signals and running lights. So they're dual element bulbs in them. Then fog. So I was originally going to use the fog lights for running lights, but screw that. I'll just put them on a toggle switch. Still gotta get glass for like the rear portion of the car. So quiet, comfortable riding car. I like it. Definitely is a lot of play too in the steering on this car that I do want to get addressed, because that sucks. I don't like sawing at the wheel, try to keep her straight. But that's a 47 Chevy, so you're gonna have those issues. Here's a parts Mustang I got. 80, I think it's 83 with an 82 front end. GT 5.0 5-speed T-top car. That's actually not too rusty. Problem is I don't got a title. I tried paying services online to look up the VIN to see if you could find a previous owner, and they all basically said, oh, there's no history on the car. I'm like, well, that sucks. So I don't know if it's worth going through the whole lost title BS. I don't know. No, other than that, I didn't really rob any parts off of it yet for my other Mustang. I really don't think I think everything that's bad on this car is bad on that car and vice versa. So other than I robbed the ring to hold the headlight in, but lacking a title sucks. This bed, that's for my good army truck project, needs a new floor, but it's there and it's in good shape compared to my other bed. Still has some of the old writing on it you can make out. I thought you could tell somewhere around here, but yeah. My Reatta, fuel pump went out on it, fuel tank leaks, so it's all got to come out. But it's kind of one of those things, do you really stick money into a car that, well, I hit a deer, scabbed it together, got her on the road, drove it for like 2 more years like this, and then eventually the fuel tank started leaking, then I quit driving it. And then the fuel pump went out here pretty recent, so that sucks, or else this car would fire right up. This is another one I think the mice might have moved into. I don't see any poison in this one either, so we're gonna throw a few more in there. Here's my good army truck project. So I got a set of rims that need to get blasted and painted. I want to get for it some nice tires, but they're the Widowmaker rims, so got to find someone to do it. That tank has got to get put in the proper position. It's not supposed to be on the outside of the truck. Should be in the inside of the frame rail. But this hoist setup has to come out for the tank to fit. That's not original, that's not factory, so I have no problems in pulling that out. That bed over there is going to go on this truck. I'd fire it up, but the problem with I have is, of course, without removing the tarp, there's a bolt that comes off. It's not even a bolt, it's a bracket that's in the shape of a cone, threaded on this side and threaded on this side. This side has a nut, the other side threads into the engine block, and that's what your throttle linkage pivots on to operate the carburetor. Unfortunately, it snapped clean off, flush with the block, and I just have not had the ambition to do that, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get to, because it's, I want to say it's somewhere like right here on the engine. So, but yeah, I mean, I got the idle turned way up right now so I can start the truck and move it, but it's really not good for it because it literally starts up and then it runs at like 2,000 RPMs. Not a good thing to do to it. So the engine is pretty tired, so I don't think I'm going to hurt it too much. But she likes her oil. She smokes a lot. So, yeah. Here's Pearl. V8 Army truck. So just like my other one, except I finally got my axles swapped. So Dana 60 front, Dana 70 rear. I gotta get different. Oh, I better grab those straps. Just remember that. These don't fit this axle. So, but I just had her running. She runs pretty good. I'll insert the clip. But, well, just had her running. Took a little bit to get her going. That's just because there's no choke. But the V8 Army truck still runs. Which, I mean, it should. Went to put the drive shaft in. I don't have the right straps for the rear U-joint there. Well. These are actually off of a deuce and a half. This truck should only have 3 ribs, and it should say Chevrolet on it. This is off the GMC, the bigger 2.5 tons. This one doesn't have it because previous owner ran the transmission cooler lines and a small cooler out here for the automatic turbo 350 trans. But so now I have working front brakes with the Dana 60 front, Dana 70 rear. I don't have the rear brakes hooked up. They need to be gone through completely. I believe the drums are junk, and I think this side's missing all the guts. But it won't be hard to hook that all back up. Then the bed off my K30's got to go back on here, so it's got the proper military bed on it. So and I got to figure out the steering yet. Steering's still pretty loose. I mean, and the wheels aren't even moving. That's a little bit much. I don't like it. Driving it here the one day, it was a nightmare to keep the truck on the road straight. So then hopefully with the military bed she'll ride a lot nicer, because holy crap, I think these rear tires were off the ground. So yeah, that needs to change. But yeah, glad she's gone. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. How bad is it? Oh, awesome. This just saved me a bunch of money. They want $100 for this stupid thing. That white Cougar I got's busted right here, so the headlight flops and there's gonna be no good spot to mount the corner light on. But awesome, awesome, awesome. That's totally random. But so future to do with this truck, I gotta tighten the steering up, get the brakes working. I would like to rewire the whole truck, get a nice fuse panel and everything. So I don't think there is one on this truck. No, there isn't. It's just a bunch of circuit breakers right there. But I also want to swap the dash. Both trucks have the same dash, and I'll show you what the other dash looks like. So I'd like to put that other dash in this truck just to make them different. Then the bed on my K30 is going to go on the back of this truck. Hopefully it makes it ride better, because as of right now with no bed on this thing and those thick leaf springs like that, you hit a bump and I think the rear end comes off the ground. It's violent. So I also need different U-bolts there. As you see, I got some spacers right there. That's not good. Yeah, Fiero here. 2.5. I did the 2.5 swap to it. It was originally a 2.8, but the engine was junk, so I put the 2.5 in it so she runs and drives. This was originally going to be a 3.8 swapped 4-speed manual Fiero, but I'm doing the 3.8 swap to my other Fiero. So there's that. There's no battery in it right now. I robbed the battery for another project. But I think I got to run a thicker cables from the front to the rear. I think they're 2 gauge. I think I need 0 gauge, because it don't start like it should. And at first I thought I had a weak battery in it, but the battery's like new. So I don't think it's the battery, which kind of sucks, because I was like, oh, if it's just the battery, it's no big deal. But I got the passenger seat robbed out of the car right now, because this was my work car when the weather was nice. I've been looking for that. Yeah, nothing real special here. Great mileage car. If I have the right size tires on it, I'd get more accurate mileage. But she gets high 20s, so I call that a win. But the motor's also, like, I did a compression test, and the compression's pretty pitiful. So I'm sure the motor's tired, but just for driving around back and forth to work, it's good. I don't mind it. Let's go check out some other projects. Here's a parts Fiero. I gotta scrap it out. I want to keep all the exterior panels, keep the entire interior of the car. basically. What it is, it's all rotten. I kind of can't tell right now, but oh, right there, there's like no trunk left. Floors are gone. I mean, she's in real shape. So good parts car. So after I'm done parting this car out, or taking the parts off of it and throwing it in my inventory of Fiero parts, I think I'll have enough for like 2 cars, 2.5 cars. So got to do that. Here's an S10 chassis I got from my buddy a while ago. I always wanted to do put like a 1950s Chev, late 40s, early 50s Chev body on it. And it's 4.3 5-speed, 4-wheel drive, manual transfer case. But what ended up happening is, well, you see the tarp kind of failed and filled the engine up with water, and the engine's junk. Which is kind of dumb because it was a perfectly running engine. So yeah, that throttle body is like froze shut. So I picked up an S10 that used to be mine, sold it to my buddy, I bought it back from him. So I'm going to put that body on here. That engine's going to go. I got a 5.3, we're going to 5.3 swap it, make a 5.3 4-wheel drive, 5-speed manual 4-wheel drive S10. So hopefully it'll be a pretty smooth project, because the idea is I'm going to pull that motor out, put the 5.3 in, get it all running as is. And I thought there was a fuel tank on here. Crap, I'm going to need a fuel tank. There's a 4-cylinder fuel tank is leaking. That's lame. Okay, well, dumb, but whatever. But like, it's got nice exhaust. I think he ran all new fuel lines. There's like new brake lines on it. I mean, it's new shocks. He was going to do something real cool. I forgot what the heck he was all doing. He had like 3 of them. And all I know, he took like a ZR2 chassis, which I don't think this one's the ZR2. Made it a standard cab short bed, 5-speed manual 4-wheel drive, 4.3. And like, he replaced the floors, everything, made the thing perfect, mint. And like the first week he had it on the road, got rear-ended, totaled the truck. It's like, oh. So he got discouraged and kind of just ended up getting rid of everything. This is not the chassis that was involved in the accident. I know that. Because the other one, I mean, this frame rail was shoved in, like the truck was totaled. So that's what's going to happen this summer, is this is going to have a 5.3. And then I think I'm going to just rock this thing all winter long. But here's my parts army truck. Show you what I'm talking about dash wise. That's the other dash. It's got the round gauges. I think I want the grill off this one too. I gotta get it picked up again and get some blocks under it and make it so it sits kind of level. But I think the other one doesn't got this grill on it with the straight bars. The other one's like one continuous and it loops. They call it like the serpent grill. So this one was going to be my V8 project truck until I got that other one. Here's the other panel. But no, this one, like, I got new glass, put a set of Fiero seats in it. The floor pan was in rough shape, so I used fiberglass that I got, or plexiglass that when I worked with the foundry they were throwing away. So I was gonna have like a plexiglass floor in it. I'm like, dude, this thing's gonna be sweet. And then I picked up that other truck and I'm like, well, that one's done. So, I mean, needs a lot of work, but less work than this one. So, yeah. Here's the parts truck I picked up 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. But or was it last year? I don't remember. I gotta look. But she's no longer mine. She's got the gauge cluster I like. I think this one's got the serpent grill on it. Yes, it does. This one, how it loops and ends. one bar, and loops again. So that's some of the differences. But I worked out a trade with a buddy, a co-worker. So we got to get this truck over to his shop. He's going to try to get her going, try to fix her up. So that'd be pretty cool. The issue is I can't keep all these trucks. Like, it'd be cool to have a couple people with a couple of these trucks. So that way we could get like a convoy going. That'd be fun. But if I have them all, that don't work. I don't have enough money to get them all running. If I did, this one would be running. They all would be running. Hell, my parts truck over there would be running. But see, this one still got the hinges up on top. But, yeah, I got to get it over to my buddies or my co-workers, my co-worker buddy. And unfortunately, my uncle's trailer is a foot too short to actually haul this thing, so you gotta get a different trailer. So, fun stuff there. Bailey here. Just actually, that's how I got here today. I had her running, driving right down the road. So nothing really new here to talk about. She's a running, driving truck. Everything works. She needs to be rewired though. The harness is kind of crappy, and I got some ghetto-ness going on. It's a 223 inline 6 4-speed manual, so it's the predecessor to the Ford 300. Yeah, is she in neutral? Yeah, let's see if she. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right there. So, yeah, runs and drives. No heat. Heat sucks. I mean, there is a heater and it works, but not really. These are my rear running lights, turn signals. This is my brake light switch. Headlights are pretty dim, so it needs to be rewired is what it is. But picked this up from Bailey's Harbor, hence the nickname Bailey. As you see, beautiful rebuilt 223 Chinese carburetor. Previous owner put the brake setup from a 2000 and I thought it said on here what year. Okay, it doesn't. Just a Dodge Ram 1500 two-wheel drive setup. So the brakes on this thing are absolutely touchy as hell, but it's nice, they work. So things to do on this truck: it needs a radiator. The radiator sprung a leak, and I guess there's a difference between the big trucks and the small trucks, so I can't find a radiator for it. So I gotta eventually pull that one out, get it sent out, see if it's fixable. The wood on the bed needs to be replaced. There's like no wood. And rewire it, and I think that's it. That's really all the truck needs. And new cab clearance lights. I think only one of them's there, and then none of them work, but it's a point of water entry, so that's got to get fixed. And different mirrors. The original mirrors broke on me, or the mirrors that were on it, and those ones, I hate them. Some of my truck mirrors are too big, so. But yeah, that's Bailey. She's a running and driving truck. A few other trucks or vehicles I won't show. 41 Plymouth is at a co-worker buddy's shop. He's trying to get it running for me. My M51A2 1968. That's at my other buddy's place with a bad starter. Fortunately, they don't make parts for the starters anymore, so I have to get another starter, and it's like $700. So that sucks, but that truck's got to get going here, because it not running is no good. And my 73 Riviera, I'm not going to show. I haven't done anything with that vehicle in the last 10 years, so it needs a whole engine overhaul, transmission overhaul, complete interior, and a paint job. So yeah, those vehicles I will not show. Well, there's the 85 Camaro. Not much of an update on that, other than she's buried in the garage here. Wanted to get this thing going this year, but I think it's going to be a next year project. Got that tubular subframe in it, so. Then, other than that, there really ain't much of an update on that car. There's the 5.3 that's going to go in that S10 chassis. Right there. There's another supercharged 3.8 V6. What else I got floating around here? 5-speed off of 4-cylinder S10. Couple transfer cases, torque converter, front drive shaft. That transmission there is I believe that's the 5-speed for the Cougar. I believe that's what that is. And the original motor out of my Mustang 302. I think that's the 2.8. It looks like the 2.8 out of the Fiero. Down there is another Chev 350. Oldsmobile 307, and then an Army truck engine. I think that's all I got going on here. My 05 Cadillac, still just being a pretty good car. Had to stick some money in it this year. Coil packs being issues, so that wasn't exactly the cheapest, but you know, other than that, she's just a good running car. Good daily driver. Try not to drive it too much in the winter. I try to make the body last. The K30. That's the bed that's going on the V8 Army truck. Unfortunately, my redneck tank job here, out of one of the cars I scrapped out, it's actually out of a Cadillac. Leaked water in it, and now I got water in my gas. So, she doesn't want to start. Pissed me off. Why is this hood not wanting to open? Oh, that's a new issue. What the hell? Well, that's dumb. Change the doors on it. These doors are like rock solid. There ain't much going on here. Was using the truck quite a bit here this winter, but no, that there's water in the fuel. That kind of puts a dampener on that. My 3.8 swapped Fiero that I got to finish. It's got to get on a hoist, and I got to just do a bunch of work underneath of it. So a lot underneath the car that needs work. Pop her open here. Cut the trunk out, so I got room for an exhaust. Yeah, so that's about it there. So good solid month's worth of work on this car. Sitting with a bunch of flat tires. Bunch of the 3.8 swap stuff I still got to put in it. Then the Grandpa Dodge, she's starting to get pretty rough due to I'm driving her all winter long. Starting to rust out. Bumper's got a massive hole in it. Truck needs a set of gears in it really bad. Cracked a taillight. Just but here's the S10. This body's going on that other chassis, so I don't mind that the cab's in kind of rough shape, because then I don't feel bad driving it in the winter. Because that's probably going to be my winter drivers once this is all on that 4x4 chassis with that 5.3. As it sits right now, it's a 2.25 speed ZQ8 package. So rough shape, but perfect for a winter beater. This thing absolutely sucks in the snow. It's just two-wheel drive, so can't go through squat. That's not much better, but I say that is better in the winter than this. There's the Deutz. We're not going to get started on that one. Here's my Saab. Got it with a bad engine. I'm like, oh, whatever. I'll just throw in another engine in it. Till I find out everyone wants like $2,000 for a used engine. And I'm like, I cannot justify spending $2,000 on this car. No. So I currently got it up for sale for parts. But it's a EJ20. It's the 2.0 turbo. And for whatever reason, these engines are worth a lot of money. Like junkyards, they want anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000 for an engine. Used, $2,000, $2,500 bucks. I refuse to spend that kind of money on something with that zero warranty. You know, it's like, oh no, it's taillight warranty. So I could pick up a whole nother car for that price. Here's Papa Smurf. I even put a Papa Smurf sticker on her. Look at that. So, diesel swap truck. Was originally a 460 big block, or when my buddy had it, it was a 429 big block. Then motor blew up, put a 351 in here. Didn't like it, was going to go back to another big block and just gave up on it. Sat in his freestall barn for like years. I got it from him. Then at the time I had my 86 F250 diesel. Ran really good, but everything else was junk in the truck, so I swapped engines. Never again. I will never do this swap again. Not worth it. This truck should have just got another big block in it and just called it good. Or small block or whatever. Inline 6 at this point. Everything's different. I don't think there's a part under the hood that's the same. The brake boosters are different. Coolant reservoir, windshield washer fluid, the core support. In fact, this is the gas core support, and the radiator sits about this much too high where it won't drop down. It's actually touching on the bottom corners, and this radiator won't fit in there. And that's the radiator out of the diesel truck. It was a brand new radiator. So that sucks. Like, this is different, that's different, this is different, this is different, this is different. All the stuff for the battery trays are different. Stuff for like the starter solenoid, all that, because instead of using that to, like, the battery cable doesn't go to there, the battery cable goes directly to the battery. It's got a solenoid on the starter, like a GM style starter. And then all that does is just, so the key switch goes to that, and then that has a small wire that goes to the solenoid. Why? I don't, whatever. It's a disaster. But we got the truck running, moving, then the mechanical pump took a crap, so it wasn't getting diesel. I just picked one up here a couple days ago. I got to install it. See if she starts again. Then, what do we got here? Here's the Buick Skyhawk T-Type. There's the four-cylinder, turbo four-cylinder out of it. Yeah. Actually, I just picked up a part for it. Different crank. So I picked up a crankshaft for it. So now with that, I want to take it to a machine shop, have them assemble that crank into that block, put new bearings in it, make sure it's all good. And then I can start putting it together. I have all the parts. Unfortunately, I know the rack and pinion, forgot which side is leaking. I noticed it when I pulled the engine out. Unfortunately, can't get the parts. Long gone, discontinued. So now I got to remember how to put it back together. That's going to be fun. But my goal is to have this thing going before fall. Like the end of summer, have this thing on the road. There's a car show not too far from here that I want to bring it to. That's the goal with this car. Anything else in here that's worth mentioning? Other than it's a disaster because, I don't know, I got parts from like 20 different cars scattered all over here. My motor out of my 96 Camaro. The Dodge Stealth. This engine's got to get sent out. I got to get this thing fixed. Because the engine that's in the Stealth right now is junk too. 383 stroker, that's got to get sent out. Find out why I got 3 cylinders lower compression than the other 5. Rocker panel for the 96 Camaro. Driver door from the 96 Camaro where it's all busted up. I got a different door on it. And that I did a couple years ago. But and down there, see if I can where is it? Oh, there's the Buick 455 big block for the 73 Riv. The heads, all the parts. A couple transmissions sitting behind there. Army truck floorboard. Miscellaneous throttle bodies. Here's my whole Fiero parts. 90% of it's Fiero parts. 99%. So that's where I stuck all the Fiero parts. I was hoping to do that this year, but I don't think this is going to be this year's project. Probably next year's. This is for the 85 Mustang GT. It's a 351 Windsor. So that way I can actually get an engine that runs on all 8. Because the one that's in the car right now runs on 7. I have one dead cylinder and one like half dead cylinder. But so this one came out of a running truck. So heard the truck run. So it's a good engine. So that is the supercharged 3.8 V6 for the Cougar. So that's sitting there. That's the one I want to go through all the gaskets on it prior to putting it in the Cougar. Yeah. I might have a little too many cars if it takes 2 days to film them all. But here's my 96 Camaro. I got to get this thing set up for an alignment. But this last fall, I went through it. Changed oil pan gasket, timing chain cover gasket, valve cover gasket. So hopefully there's no more oil leaks. Because she was leaking vast amounts of oil. When I'd go for a drive, if I drove it for a week, it would lose like 2 or 3 quarts. Just leaking it. But in the process I also put my tubular front subframe in, which I thought was a lot lighter than the factory one, but once you strip them both down to nothing, it really isn't that much lighter. But there's a lot more room. A whole lot more room. It's gonna be so nice doing spark plugs and wires on this car in the future, which is something I had to do too, because notice one of the plug wires was burnt on her. The timing chain was loose. Changed the timing chain, and the new one, there's like a rattle in the front of the engine, and it's not the rods. I checked all that when I had the pan off and everything. Everything else is good. It's just something rattles in the front of the engine, and it's got to be that freaking timing chain. And then I put in just a stock one in it, and it still doesn't. So kind of disappointed in that. Other than that, the car does need transmission work. The bearing's bad in the transmission, but it's been bad since I've put the transmission in there, and that's been about 12 years ago. So 12 years later, she still drives down the road just fine. So other than the alignment, I think that's all it really needs, other than paint. Really bad. I also got another door. I got to change the guts because I eliminated the electric windows in the driver door because issue with these cars, and new motors, I fought with it. And actually there's some tools in here. God dang it. Looking for some of that. But other than that, I would start it, but the battery's stone dead. That's another thing the car needs, is a new battery. Battery is junk. So that's something that has to be changed on it. That and this gasket needs to be changed and the door adjusted better, because actually she isn't too bad. She leaks water in, and she's gonna rust out if I don't get that fixed. But yeah, there's that. Oh, I also looked at the oil pressure gauge. All my aftermarket oil pressure gauges I've had on this car are junk. I don't get it. Tried like 3 different ones and they all just don't read right. So that's frustrating. The Stealth. Oh, the Stealth. I like this car a lot. This too needs paint. Actually, the paint got a lot worse in the last couple of years. A lot worse. But I love driving this car. I really do. It's probably one of my more favorite cars to drive. I don't know why I love driving it so much. It's a fun car to drive. I mean, I've had this car forever. And if I had to pick the two, if you said, hey, which one's more funner to drive? It's like it's like a 49 to 51. You know, just slightly leaning to that. Sometimes, and it flip-flops. But this one needs an engine. She's kaput. If it's 1.2, it's either cylinder 5 or 6 in the back corner, 0 compression. So I unhooked the injector, pulled the plug, so that way it's just to get the car to move, and now I won't even run, which is understandable. You're down a whole hole. But that other engine in my garage needs to be gone through, and it needs to go in this car. I want to say I want to do that like ASAP, but got to get the funds first. And underneath this is the Mustang GT. Not Mustang, Mustake. Because I keep telling myself it's a mistake getting a car. So, issues. I need new front tires. Bought a set of used tires and they were junk. Right from a used tire store, and the guy's like, oh, it sucks to be you. I'm like, oh, fucker. The back ones, I cannot find replacement tires for them. They're 14s and they're super wide. Which is, I love the look of the car. It's like the Mad Max look. Is this actually still attached, or is it just hanging? No, it's still ratcheted down. I'm not unratcheting it. You can check out my other videos in my shorts and stuff like that. I got a lot of that of this car. Yeah, it's a T-top 85 Mustang GT 5-speed manual 302, and it needs that 351 put in it. She's down a hole, but she runs and drives, so for now I'm gonna say good enough. But, yeah, not a car, but my Deutz. She's looking pretty rough. Brush cutting is not easy on it, because I go places you don't belong. Like, I'm running brush over and everything else. But other than that, she's a good tractor. I gotta take this to my grandparents, drop the blower off, come back, get the blade. This thing moves some snow, though this tractor is ungodly fast in reverse. Stupid fast. So, even in a low setting, like, for example, brush cutting, I ripped my steps off. I've ripped every light off this tractor. Busted the door. I mean, it's like, oh, hey, there's a bunch of thick brush and it needs to go. Yep, she needs to go. Here we go. Oh, much better. This must have happened to the previous owner, because there should be a door here too, I do believe. And you kind of see he kind of made his own, because the same problem I'm coming into. You can't get glass. That's one solid chunk of glass that's curved. So I think what I'm going to do, I keep telling myself this, I'm going to build a square frame. A lot thinner than this. This is too thick. But very thin. Like 1-inch flat stack. Run it around, then run one piece right across the center here. And then just put plexiglass in. And then make, so then the metal, and then I got a replacement hinge, so then I can actually have a door that latches and everything else. So that, and then I can fix my heater. Other than that, she's a runner. Great on fuel, I gotta say. This is probably one of the most fuel efficient tractors I ever drove. Little 4-cylinder air-cooled Deutz engine. But yeah, that's my update. So like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you like, what you don't like. If you got questions, ask. I like answering questions and stuff like that. So you guys have a great day.